everybody, and welcome to Pomeroy Art Academy's Breakfast Club. I'm your instructor, John Pomeroy, and I want to show you some tips on facial exaggeration. You know, during my early days at Disney, all of us had a mirror that we would use to check out our facial expressions, and it would give us a basis to springboard an idea on what parts of our face are compressing, what parts are stretched, and how to get the most out of, a furrowed eyebrow, an anger expression, a happy expression, a sad expression. What are the things, the components of the face that make this up? And it's funny because when you get into character design, if I'm going to once again use my character Tig as my example. We have an eye line, nose, mouth, his teeth, his eyes, eyebrows, fur coming off the cheeks, his ears. He has a little mask that goes around the perimeter of his eyebrows and then around the perimeter of his cheeks, his little whiskers. If I take those elements and create like a mask, that becomes this figure 8 shape that I can move and squash and stretch that give me a better result, because everything will be unified by that shape. And likewise, even the muzzle of his mouth, how that is pinched. You can take the furrowed eyebrows and you can really squeeze it on one side and let it open up on the other. To get a little bit interesting, more dynamic in your facial expressions. So this eye mask idea can be used to a great extent to keep all of the features around the eye unified. Otherwise, it's easy to get things that look disjointed and not quite as strong as you'd like them to. I mean, I can move this eyebrow down. I can keep this one up to give him kind of an inquisitive look. Likewise, I can move the corner of his mouth up. His teeth. And so everything gets pinched here. Try to color that in, let you see the negative space around his eyes. All of this gets risen up. The cheeks begin to get squished together. So this eye mask idea is something that, is a tool that I've been using for years, and it helps me to kind of understand that proportion and how I can squash it, how I can stretch it, and how I can direct it in a way that, gives more clarity to the personality and to the emotion that I'm trying to depict. Likewise, you can invert that eye mask, taking it from something like this to something like this, where you have a sad expression. You've taken that mask and now you've created a look of sadness. And yet everything works together. The wrinkles on the eye, they have structure to them. It's like a gigantic, you've taken this figure 8 mask and you've used that as an animatable unit that you can squash and stretch and direct. Likewise, the muzzle of the mouth, if it's pulled down, and sadness. The whiskers drop. So that gives you, a tool that you can use in your close-up facial expressions. And they don't have to be close-up. I mean, for any kind of facial expressions, that's a unit that's a tool that can really help you. Now, another thing that we used to use an awful lot, like I mentioned in the beginning, is our mirror. And to kind of jumpstart the idea of how I can get an expression. What is, if I wanted to get an expression of, let's see, I mean, we know anger, we've seen surprise, we've seen happiness. How about disbelief? What does that look like? So I'm looking at my face right now and I'm trying to do disbelief. So if I were animating Tig and I'm looking at my facial expression, I would see that eye mask. Let's see if I can capture that. With button eyes, it gets a little difficult. I would have to put a little glare in his eye. But at least I have something. There would be a wrinkle coming off of his nose. So I am observing an idea based on my own expression as I'm trying to capture it. So taking that idea, I can now take a clean piece of paper, and I have an idea right here that will be the basis for even a stronger drawing. Let's say, let me see if I can push it. So already I'm getting something that if I were just going to go in cold, I don't think would have worked as well as if I hadn't used the mirror in my first investigation of what this expression would look like. I had to you have to be kind of a reporter with a pencil and then capture an idea first that I saw in the mirror, put my first thought down, which I have here, and then do a draw over. Draw something and push that expression. So using a mirror, I would definitely encourage you to do that. To enhance and to perfect your performance, to direct your acting, and to get the very best out of your facial expressions. So give it a try and see what happens. And practice makes perfect, as I'm always saying. The more you do it, the better you get. And we want to make sure that you, as an animation artist, can raise your skill level as high as you can go. And I hope this Breakfast Club teaches you that. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.